morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning. This is the fourth part of our innovation series that we've been doing in partnership with the Ohio Small Business Development Center and Ohio Apex Accelerator. I am your host, Joey Scott. For those of you that don't know me, because I really haven't had a voice for the previous sessions to even introduce myself, I am the statewide manager for our Apex Accelerator here in Ohio. And we do all things government contracting. So this innovation series has been going very well. And I'm joined this morning by Deja Johnson, who is our Apex program specialist here at the Lead Center in Columbus. And our guest today is Ms. Chanel Foltz from Air Force Research Lab. So I get to read her biography today, which is exciting. So Chanel is the Deputy Director of the Air Force Research Laboratory Small Business Office, located at Wright Pat Air Force Base in Ohio. She is responsible for the enterprise small business $3 billion portfolio and achieving the annual small business goals. She supports the AFRL leadership, workforce, and external stakeholders on small business matters, outreach activities, and acquisition participation within AFRL. Ms. Foltz began her Air Force career in 2008 as a Palace acquirer in the acquisition program management career field. I'm not too familiar with it at all, so that's exciting. She has garnered over 15 years of widespread acquisition execution experience within major weapon systems, support programs, and service acquisitions. She has assisted on various Air Force level initiatives with respect to policy, reporting, and software rollout and adoption. Additionally, she has served on the AFRL Inspector General team with enterprise inspections and developed standards and processes. Prior to her current position, she was with the Integrated Processes Branch Chief and the AFRL Strategic Services Portfolio Manager, where she managed the laboratory's $5 billion services acquisition portfolio and high visibility service acquisition category programs at Wright Pat in Ohio. So all of that is to say, you can't ask for a better speaker today as part of our innovation series talking about Air Force Research Labs and how that fits into the innovation ecosystem. So without further ado, Chanel, I'll turn it over to you.
Wow, I haven't heard that in a minute. I haven't read it in a minute. So thank you, Joey. Thank you, Deja. Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here. It feels early to me. I don't know if you guys are having that kind of morning, but hopefully I'm going to share some nuggets with you and you'll get to learn something, ask some questions. I'm not the end all be all, but I'll try to help and answer what I can. If not, I promise to circle back and I'll find the right person to answer your questions. Excited to be here. And thank you guys for having me present in this opportunity. So we'll get started. I'm going to share my screen. And I know Joey and Deja are going to be monitoring. With me sharing my screen, I'm not going to be able to see the chat, so bear with me. And we will get started. So welcome. What I'm going to be going over is the Air Force Research Laboratory, focusing on small business. So when you walk away today, I'm hoping to give you some tools, some resources, understanding our organization and our mission. Super excited. Not sure what your backgrounds are, so feel free to interrupt me, ask questions, clarification, and then I'll give you some time at the end as well. So we'll get started. I'm going to do this commercial and hopefully it works.
Today's world is more connected and moves faster than ever before. But these technological advancements bring more threats to our way of life. With roots tracing back to 1917, the Air Force Research Laboratory continues to deliver technologies with speed, building on its strong foundation of scientific research and innovation to support our warfighters in defending our freedoms. Now, through streamlined processes, digital transformation, and a concerted focus, AFRL accelerates science and technology to meet the Department of the Air Force's priorities and prevail in the future. Supporting the Air Force and Space Force, we are one AFRL, one fight.
Okay. Well, hopefully that gets you hyped up a little bit. I always, I guess the goosebumps come up when I see that video, because just the sense of pride that I have with our organization and the mission. But leading into doing what we do, what is this foundation, and how do we fit in the industrial ecosystem? So partnerships are critical, and that coming from an acquisition standpoint, relationships, agreements, what we do helps our country, helps with our national defense. So what we want to maintain and sustain is our competitive advantage. That's the brass ring here. We can't do that without partnerships. So it's very intentional and critical that the government partners with industry to make that happen. We need your help in developing innovations, products, and providing services, whether that be to our organization or to the field, in a variety of capacities to keep our mission going. This is critical as we compete against our adversaries. There's threats every day. We have a new commander, and this is definitely being foot stomped as a part of our mission set. Is we need to be ahead of the game. So I just wanted to kick that off. And I don't know if there's any gamers in the room, but we definitely wanted to take a more fun spin, even though this is a serious topic, with how we're doing this briefing and integrating Mario. And the next slide will showcase why. So we're here to build the defense industrial base pipeline. And we were brainstorming, understand government can be boring, especially in the federal space. So we were trying to make it fun and trying to make it somewhat interactive. So maybe this is a throwback for some, or some of you may not even know what this is from. But if you're an old school Mario gamer, this is what we wanted to go with. And yeah, it's just a unique perspective. So we'll get started, but I'm walking through this map. But just knowing that the federal government is the world's largest customer. So understanding your customer is critical when you want to enter or you're involved in this space, and not understanding everyone's background or experience. Just wanted to set this stage there. But we'll walk through. These are just some overarching steps on what you need to do and how you need to position your business to work with the federal government or expand with if you're already working in this space. So step one is learning the federal market. So what do we mean by that? Well, in the federal space, we have a lot of policy, law, code, all the things that guide how we do business. And by business, I'm meaning acquisitions. You'll hear this a lot. Forgive me if I'm talking down to some folks, but the foundation of how we operate and with these business relationships are our federal acquisition regulations. So I remember when I first started in the government, years and years ago, one of my first assignments, literally I walk on the job and they hand me this huge book and they were like, here, read the FAR. So you'll hear the FAR, and that's the Federal Acquisition Regulation. And it's a ginormous book, and they're like, read this. And I remember thinking, and I'll be frank, hell no, I'm not going to read this. But now it's all digitized, right? So you can buy the FAR, but you have full access to that. But I feel like it's important for a business to get comfortable and have knowledge and awareness of the laws that dictate how we do acquisitions. Not that you need to read and memorize all the things, but understanding what's in your contracts, what's in your agreements, what those clauses are, how they're structured. We deal also with a lot of alphanumerics, so how those are defined. All that information is located here. And when you get the slides, you'll have this hyperlink as well. So hopefully in your business, you have a legal resource that understands this space further. But we wanted to tee that up to make sure that businesses understand, because we have situations that come up where companies may not understand what they're signing up for. So understand what your contract means and what your obligations are. I mentioned alphanumerics. We're referencing this today as cheat codes. There are a lot of different numbers and letters that signify things. And in the government, we love to categorize things. Some of your foundational numbers, if you haven't worked in this space, are your UEI, your unique identity ID number, which you can get through sam.gov when you register to do business with the government. This is a required registration step for you and your business. This is the first step in that journey. You need to have that UEI to move forward. And then we will also want to mention your EIN. So this you get from the IRS, and this is all things surrounding your taxes and all that fun stuff that goes with establishing a business. The other thing that's going to identify you and your business is your cage code. This is where you get from your cage code from the DLA, so the Defense Logistics Agency. And this is another alphanumeric identifier for your business. So this is unique to you and your organization. And it's how folks can find you very easily, and all the tools and systems. And also this will be in a lot of the acquisition documentation and as you progress and if you engage with the government as a customer. The list on the right is further identification codes of market space. So your NAICS, this is a number that identifies the work or service that you're providing or the product. What bucket do you fall into? Is it an R&D? Is it an engineering? So it's a way for us to categorize you and you to categorize yourself, so we can find those intersections between what you're selling and what we're buying. Another identifier is the product service code. This is something some folks include and promote when they're positioning their business. This is an additional alphanumeric that says, hey, what service or supply or product that you're selling. And I'll showcase this for you and show you the AFRL top NAICS and PSCs that we buy within our organization. That way you have an idea as a business if there's some alignment, and then you have those insights to see if we can be a potential customer for your business. DODAC. A DODAC is an alphanumeric number highlighting a specific government entity. So I'm also going to provide a list of DODACs for the AFRL organization. And this is essentially a location code. So Joey mentioned I sit at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. We have a list of DODACs. So these are alphanumerics that every government organization has that are essentially the beginning of a contract number. But it says to an agency or to a business the type of work that's being awarded and where it's at. So you can use these codes to do searches and find solicitations that are posted on different tools and resources, such as sam.gov. This is great for market research, and you guys trying to find alignment for your business to a government organization. And I'll talk more about this later. Going back to the map, we are going to look at step 2, so conduct a market research and competitive analysis. One thing that we run into when we talk to businesses is a lot of folks don't understand the federal space. And granted, it's very complicated. It's very hierarchy. We have a lot of different organizations. What we wanted to showcase here on this slide is the Air Force small business structure. You can see at the top, our headquarters is in DC, and that's at the Air Force level. We also wanted to showcase how much spend is being allocated to small business. So for the Air Force, it's $17 billion, and that was for FY23. If you're not familiar with the Air Force structure, there are commands and centers. So AFRL, you can see on the far left, falls under the Air Force Materiel Command. That's our home base. That's who we answer to. And there's also 6 other centers that fall under that AFMC umbrella. At the AFMC level, they had $9.7 billion of small business spend allocated. And how that gets funneled down is to each of the centers. AFRL is what I'm highlighting today, obviously, because I work with them. We execute about $2 billion of small business spend. Each organization has their own budget every year, and we're going through that process right now of closing out and entering a new fiscal year. So understanding how our budgets work, how our organization is structured, and the hierarchy and how that flows up is also important as you're exploring future customers or expanding. We wanted to provide information on each center for their small business office, so that we provided each of the directors so you can explore if another center fits your business better or offers up the products, services, innovations that you're selling. Also at the bottom, that bumper sticker, if you're trying to find a specific small business professional, you can use that hyperlink. And let's just say you are in Oklahoma, near Tinker Air Force Base. You can find the specific person or point of contact via that web link below. Going back to the map, seeking support and building a network. A lot of folks, we have a lot of different opportunities and pathways and front doors within AFRL. And we want to make sure that we're meeting the need and providing an opportunity for you to connect with us and reach us. So our first door primarily is obviously our email, which I will go back to that actually. I'm going to flip through our slides. So this is our small business team. This is me, Chanel. Our director is Brian McJilton. We have a team, but we have our questions inbox here. And that's how you can contact us directly. We also have our AFRL Small Business Hub. That is our front door organization. I'll be talking about some of the resources, but they have a lot of Collider events, and you can participate in person. and virtually. And all the videos are also posted on the website. We also have our Tech Connect. That's if you have an innovation or a technology that you want to see if aligns within our Air Force or Space Force. And there's a whole team to support that and a background. We have an AI tool. We do searches. So if you want to find a specific SME or someone to partner with, this is a great resource to do that. And I'm going to go up and talk more about our organization. We are a global organization, but primarily have sites in the States. At the top, you can see all the Wright-Patterson sites. We have the human performance. We have the aerospace systems. We have our headquarters at Wright-Patterson. We have our materials and manufacturing directorate. We have our sensors directorate, and also the integrated capabilities. This is sort of a catch-all for really rapid innovations. We have a lot of different high-tech programs that are in the prototyping space. So this is at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. We also have AFWorks, which falls within AFRL. This is the Air Force's program to execute the SBIR and the SITR program. They have a couple sites. They primarily operate virtually, or they're fully teleworked organization, but they have 2 sites, and then they're also going to be building a new location at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. But wanted to highlight them because of the close relationship and connection to small business. Our other sites are at Edwards Air Force Base, which have a connection to our aerospace systems, and then also at Arnold Air Force Base. We have our Kirtland Air Force Base site, which handles the space vehicles and the directed energy directorate. Our Fort Sam Houston area is connected to our human performance. And then there's also some airman systems mission sets that get executed out of there as well. At Eglin Air Force Base, we have our munitions directorate. We also share that with the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center as well. In the DC area, we have the Air Force Office of Scientific Research. So this is where a lot of grants get executed. So this is very, very basic university, academic arena. So this is at the beginning stages of R&D. So they don't deal with a lot of solicitations, but there are some opportunity spaces at AFOSR. And then finally, we have our information directorate at Rome, New York. When I first got to AFRL, one of my first trips was going to Rome, and I thought it was Italy, but didn't know we had a location in Rome, New York. But it's near Syracuse, but they handle all our cyber, all our IT. They're a major hub, and yeah, I'll go through. I have a summary on the next slide of all the missions. So on the right is listed the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base sites, and then on the left, or wait, on your left are the Wright-Patterson sites, all the directorates listed and their major mission sets. And then on the right are our geographically separated units, and then all their mission sets as well. So that's just a slight summary for you. I won't go through that. All this information is also listed and highlighted on our afresearchlab.com site. A lot of people want to understand, what are we buying? What's in our portfolio? Well, being an R&D organization, the majority of our work is in R&D space. So it shouldn't be a big surprise that 70% of the portfolio is towards research and development. This is our space. This is our primary mission. But a lot of people aren't aware that 30% of the portfolio is also services. So services can be engineering, program management, administrative support, anything that supports the mission to keep going, those operations, or that big brain power. So we have a large chunk of that in professional services, or A&AS. Our portfolio as a whole is around $5 billion annually. 2 million of that go to small business. A lot of people want to understand how that breakout works. So what we did there, of that $2 billion, approximately just over $1 billion goes towards the SIBR Sitter program, which is executed by AFWorks. And then that other $1 billion is opportunity space within the AFRL portfolio and other capacities, just straight small business, whether that be set aside or standalone opportunities. This next slide highlights some of the codes that I talked about previously. What we wanted to highlight are our top NAICS and our top PSCs. This just gives additional insights to what we're buying in the portfolio. We have a lot of businesses that approach us and want to work and partner with us, but what they're selling just doesn't align within our portfolio. So we wanted to be more upfront and communicative with what we're buying. So from the R&D side of the house on the left, you'll see the top NAICS. So that's in the 5.4 series and the 928 series. I also have a chart in the back that goes into more detail of what specifically the NAICS are, so the full number. That way you can see where your business falls in more detail. Also at the bottom, we have our top PSCs. It shouldn't be a big surprise that national defense, R&D, S&T, that space is highlighted and a part of our portfolio. On the services side of the house, I spoke about the professional services. So that's what's reflected here in that 5.4 and 5.6 category. We also do a lot of telecommunications, and then we have some specialty trade contractors that we partner with as well. Our top PSCs fall under the professional administrative management bucket, and then the IT and maintenance and repair. This is our team and how to contact us. A lot of folks wonder, what specifically does a small business office do? We do a lot of advocacy, advisory, training. We do that internally within our organization, but then we do a lot of outreach, events, engagements. We serve on different initiatives, different groups. There's a lot of interaction, networking, communications that go on. We also have a strong role internally on our government acquisition teams. So when you're doing an acquisition, a government team gets assembled. Most of the time that includes a small business professional. So we are engaged and involved in a lot of acquisitions to contribute to market research, and to be that voice of a small business to make sure that those awards, where appropriate, are being considered. We also make a lot of industry connections. We just don't work with small businesses, but also medium and large. The DoD has a mentor protege program, which a lot of large businesses participate in that, and they come to us and seek small businesses to subcontract with or partner with. So there's a lot of networking and connecting that goes between a large, a medium, and a small business. So we want to make sure to facilitate and foster those connections. Some of our programming, I mentioned the AFRL Small Business Hub. We just went through a complete revamp. So we have the hyperlinks throughout this briefing, but the director of the AFRL Small Business Hub showcases and hosts a lot of Collider events. We also have some videos on specific topics. And he welcomes other suggestions and topics. We try to change those topics every year, but a lot of resources, connections can be made by registering with the Small Business Hub. You'll get on a distribution list, but it's a very robust site, and then we have plans to even enhance it further. So I fully recommend you check that out. Two other programs that we participate in is the Ohio Federal Research Network. So this is an opportunity within the state of Ohio. It's a small funding opportunity space, but what it gives you is also a network. They deal in specific technologies. So depending on what your business focuses on, it will depend on if it's a match to be a part of the network. But this is a organization that was stood up, and there's representation by other services as well. And I believe NASIC's involved. It's not just AFRL. So from a partnering perspective, it's a wealth of connections and an opportunity space to showcase what you're buying and make those long-term relationships for your business. The Ohio Small Business Collaboration, this is a grassroots group that started some years ago, but there's representation, and AFRL serves on this, but there's representation at the AFMC command level. We have different organizations, stakeholders, but what the Ohio Small Business Collaboration does is provide a kind of a team guidance on their business plans, their strategies. So if you're beginning to work in the federal space, or you want to expand in the federal space, these are just for Ohio's businesses to participate, but it's a complete grassroots resource group to help guide small businesses. I talked about some of these. So just from an AFRL standpoint, and I'll walk through that. But I did want to go to the next step in the map is registering and certifying your business. If you haven't done that yet, that is done through sam.gov, and making sure that you have all your certifications, mind all your P's and Q's, because it is a process to get established. Step 5 is seeking opportunities. Where you find opportunities. Some folks don't know that we post most of our, if not all, solicitations through sam.gov. I mentioned our DODACs. So for each AFRL location, there is a DODAC. The list and the table at the right, these are all the AFRL DODACs for our organization. So what you can do with this information is just plug this into sam.gov, into the search mechanisms, and then it'll pull up all the current solicitation opportunities for that specific location. So the next slide, we have an example. Just put in one of our DODACs, and then, boom, search results, 5 solicitation opportunities. So a lot of people assume that sam.gov is very intuitive, easy to use. I find it overwhelming, and I can't imagine what a business viewpoint is. So what we tried to do is be more forthcoming with trying to hone in on AFRL opportunities. Now, for each government agency, they have a list of their DODACs. So this is a very powerful data point to ask organizations, what are your DODACs? So then you can go directly to those solicitations instead of fumbling with keywords and trying to find a specific string, number set, whatever. This gets you right to the heart of it. And also another perk through sam.gov is you can set up notifications. So with your business profile, you can flag, and then when solicitations are posted, that'll come direct to your email. Let's see. So step 6, solicitation responses. So if you're entering the government space or as you're applying for opportunities, you're going to get responses, and hopefully that leads to a win. So making sure you can fulfill those requirements and maintain a good standing is critical. There's been numerous stories where businesses have won government contracts and not met those contract requirements and not maintained a good performance report. So make sure when you're signing up for business with the government, you fulfill those terms and conditions. I'm going to go back up. So a couple other opportunities and pathways. A lot of folks, we rolled out 2 pilot programs through the AFRL regional networks. These are relationships that we built with Purdue and Cornell. We have a Midwest location and then the Mid-Atlantic location. Each of these locations focus on different innovations and technologies. Ohio being in the Midwest, if this is not knowing what your business direction is or what your focus is, recommend you going to those sites and seeing if there's alignment. It doesn't mean that you can't participate in another network. It's just there's a specific focus, and exploring that is another opportunity to get connected within our organization and making those connections with other businesses, SMEs, academia. So this was stood up. We're in, I believe, year 3, and we're looking at expanding as well. I mentioned sam.gov and grants.gov. These are 2 very powerful resources where we post all things solicitations or grant opportunities. The Defense Innovation Marketplace. So this is another resource that could align with your business. This is where the IR&D program is, the IRAD program. So this is the website where you would get registered your business. So this is an opportunity if you find yourself wanting to work with the government, a place you can register, and it provides an opportunity for the government to have insights of the work or business focus areas that you're selling. So you register through a profile, but what it is when you register, you're telling the government, this is the work that I'm performing, the research I'm doing, the development work that I'm doing, and hey, if there's a future opportunity space government, there are some acquisition opportunities for future acquisitions if you decide to work with the government. So I don't know if I'm explaining this, but it's a place to register. If you're investing your own business funds in the IR&D space, you do work with the federal government. There's a way for you to get, I don't want to say a discount, but there's a negotiation or a price reduction to give you, if you've invested personally into the R&D space. It's a way for the government to, I don't want to say reimburse isn't the right term, but it's a way to give you a kickback for investing your own business funds into R&D. So I'm not the point of contact for this program. If you want to know more about it, visit the site and I can give you the point of contact. I feel like I've kind of botched that one, but that's not my wheelhouse, so I apologize. The next site that I wanted to highlight was the DAF T3 program, which is the Department of Air Force Technology Transfer and Transition. This is the site where you would go where you want to establish partnerships. So this isn't necessarily true acquisitions where you're given a contract and you're performing work or partnering on R&D innovation or providing that service. This is if you want to share resources. Let's say we have a test equipment or a test bed, and you want to formalize that agreement. This is the space that you go. Or if you want to establish an educational agreement with an academic partner. There's nonprofit partnerships. So all those things fall under the DAF T3 program, and the website is provided for you there. AFWorks, this is an organization that manages and executes all the SBIR funding for the Air Force. I do not work for the AFWorks program. This is a separate program, but we've provided the hyperlink. This is strictly another funding opportunity for small businesses to participate in if they feel that their innovation lines with the work and the focus areas that AFWorks is soliciting for. A lot of people don't understand who's in charge of what. So there is some overlap when you're dealing with government acquisitions and partnering space. But I love this schematic, and this is through our Defense Acquisition University. But what we have are FAR-based and non-FAR-based agreements and contracts. So I talked about FAR in the beginning of the brief, but those are the things that fall within that Federal Acquisition Register. And we have a lot of contract mechanisms, as you can see from the fan, that within the small business space is executed. We have, IDIQ contracts. Those are indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. We have simplified acquisitions. We have set-asides. We have direct 8A programs. So there's a lot that's in this space and a lot of opportunity. Where AFWorks falls is this SBIR funding program. So it looks very small, but again, they have a large budget, and they're responsible for all of the Air Force SBIR program. So it looks like a small wedge, but big work that they do. And then the strategic partnering, those are these I wanted to highlight the organizations that fall under our strategic partnering directorate. And these are more the non-FAR-based agreements. So the other transactions, I don't know if anyone's heard of a CRADA, a PIA. Some of these agreements, they fall under strategic partnering, and a lot of them are highlighted on the DAF T3 website. They just went through a website overhaul as well. So any questions that you have, they have all the points of contact there, but this is where it's not traditional acquisitions, but establishing those relationships to see where there's a mutual benefit to partnering. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to go back. Key partners and resources. So obviously you all are participating today. We have a strong relationship with the small business development centers. We have strong relationships with the SBA, our Apex accelerators. If you aren't having a relationship with those, please feel free to click on that website, connect with a counselor. This is a program funded by the DoD. And there are a wealth of guidance and resources that an Apex Accelerator counselor can provide to you. We also have a strong relationship with GSA. There's a lot of opportunity space, contract vehicles that are provided on the site, a lot of resources. GSA also has a small business office. So if you find the need to partner with them, please feel free to go to their site, and they have all the resources there as well. Keeping your information up to date. So as a business, a lot of folks don't know how to promote themselves. One of the ways that we try to find small businesses via market research is through the SBA's Dynamic Small Business Search, which is the DSBS. This is where you can set up your profile, and I believe there's an option within sam.gov to create that, but you need to make sure to click on it. But this is a government resource and tool that we go to find small businesses to work with. So we can do searches on your cage code that I mentioned before. We can just do simple searches, but you amplifying that profile and making sure that's robust enough. So if we're looking for a business to partner with, having that populated and up to date is critical. The SBA is transitioning to a new website. It's in beta, but it's a small business search, and we've been going to both and testing both. But currently, the most active live is the DSBS. So there's a lot of businesses that a handful of them, we can't find them. So we've integrated that into when we meet with folks one-on-one or when we're at events, making sure that they're visible and letting them know if they're not, because this is a powerful tool. And if we can't find you, we can't connect to you. Recommendations. When you're working with a federal partner, it's important that you research and learn about their organizations, connect with their pertinent points of contact, understand how your business aligns with their mission. That's critical, because we won't know how to funnel you correctly, because a lot of times small business offices, we don't have the budget to execute contracts, but we can facilitate a connection further inside for those opportunities. And if we don't know where to point you in the right direction, or we don't have that upfront information from you, it prevents a roadblock, and it can be difficult, especially if it's not clear or transparent on the work that's being performed by a business. Understand government acquisitions and their processes. This is a long game. It's not something where you can walk in, meet with someone and get a government contract. This contracts can take a year to 2 years. So building those relationships, understanding the processes, getting stood up, it's a lot of work. It can be a labor of love, but if you understand the space and can navigate it as best that you can, your business will be better off. Another recommendation that we say is go to where your customers go. So go to those events, go to industry days, go to the trainings, participate in consortiums, find out where your customer's going. We go to events all the time, and we try to amplify our outreach as much as possible. But, no kidding, handshakes, looking someone in the eye, making those connections, and so customers know what you're selling, that's critical. So please ask where we're going. Ask a customer where they're going, what they're participating in. Okay. Questions?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chanel. A couple questions here for you. So I know you talked about the different centers and commands within Department of Air Force. Where would someone go to find out kind of what each group needs? Obviously, the Apex accelerators can help with that, but what would you recommend, Chanel?
Where you can go to find out where each group needs?
Yeah, like what they need to buy, as far as products or services and all that.
So I think using those DODACs to do the research and finding those solicitations. So another resource that we should be providing, which we're not really good at, is a forecast. A lot of folks ask for that. Some organizations have them, some don't. But ask for those forecasts. What we have and provide at the command level is an expired contracts list. So what the government does, typically we buy the same things over and over. But in an R&D organization, it's a challenge because our mission can change, in a matter of weeks or a day. So for our organization, the research lab, it can be difficult to highlight, but a lot of organizations and agencies have forecasts that you can request or expired contracts lists. So that gives you insights to what they're buying with the contracts that they're executing, or you can just search the DODACs and look at the solicitations.
Awesome, thank you. And I know it was in July, I think it might have been, our Apex Accelerator did a kind of how to go fishing for opportunities and do that market research with Damon as well from the Department of Air
Oh,
Force.
okay. Yeah.
So that we'll try to direct anybody to that webinar that was recorded. So that's a good resource as well.
Yeah, we have a couple collider videos on our AFRL Small Business Hub. One of them is it was a session on SAM.gov and USA spending. So it was a great session, and it will showcase how to find those opportunities as well. But it's a step by step. So I think the video is posted there under the events tab.
Awesome, thank you. Another question here. Where are contract staffing opportunities posted?
Contract staffing. I guess I'm not understanding like contracting the function, or I guess I'm not clear on that question.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know, jobs, like actual jobs that be posted on USA Jobs, right?
Correct. We also have, I can only speak for AFRL. We have an AFRL job board. You can just simply Google that. Actually, we have a job fair coming up in several weeks at the beginning of October, locally in Fairborn, Ohio. So that is a place to find work if you want to work with AFRL. There's contracting jobs, but we don't really I'll just say we AFRL, we don't really contract out to support contracting. So that's a functional organization within the federal government. So those are the folks that are the business side of the house. They do the contract execution. They know the law. They build all all the contracts. They lead negotiations. So that's a whole area in the federal government. We do hire some support staff for them, but primarily that's a government function And if you're searching for opportunities, it would definitely be USA Jobs. And then for AFRL, we have a jobs board. That's where most, if not all, opportunities are posted.
Thank you. And I know too, if some agencies have like staffing contracts, we can help you do the research and find those too, if you're looking more in lines of that too. Another question, it's not necessarily for you, Chanel, but I know there's a person asking, how can they get some resources for just business development and website creation. I definitely encourage you to reach out to us. We can get you connected with the Small Business Development Center. They're going to be one of your best resources for that. And we'll put our contact info in the chat for everyone to see. So
yeah, and then the other resource would be the the SBA has some resources too. So I feel like if you really want to get in the space, your the SBA and the Apex accelerators are the prime organizations, and then also GSA has points of contact and resources as well. So those are our primary agencies that we point to.
Absolutely. And I would say too, you heard Chanel talk about the Collider events, the Small Business Hub. They have some good, just general focused webinars too, or at least they used to. I don't know what they have planned out for the rest of the year, but I know Jim's team had some really cool things in the past.
Yeah, I mean, and then also, I meet with a lot of businesses that want to mentor and support other small businesses. So, especially women-owned small businesses. If you know of a small business owner, I know they're always willing to help. So search for mentorship and ask for help within your community. I hear it all the time when we meet with one-on-ones. They're like, hey, if you know any business that's coming up, because they definitely, there's a sense of community in small business. So don't be afraid to reach out for sure.
No, that's good advice. Thank you. I know we are just about up on time, and I'm not seeing any other questions, so we'll kind of close out here. Thank you so much, Chanel, for briefing us on AFRL. Really appreciate your time this morning. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for bearing with me today. And hopefully you learned something. My information, if you need to contact me, please send me an email. Or if you want information on something that didn't make sense, I can connect you to the right person for that specific program. So best of luck to you all in your entrepreneur journey.
Awesome. We appreciate it. And thank you all for joining us this morning. Thank you for your time. We'll see you back here next week. We will be joined by Craig Zamry from the Department of Homeland Security Innovation Hub. So we'll have some companies on there as well that have been working through the DefenseWorks ecosystem. So you can hear from their experience on all things DefenseWorks. So until then, hope you have a great week and see you back here next week. Take care.